Family, welcome back to the journey. I'm doing a little bit of getting things together. I decided to do this video at the last minute, so I gotta get the tripod set up. So give me 1 second. But I'm gonna cut up some onions, cut up some garlic. Um, Now that I've got a kitchen, as you guys know, I didn't have a kitchen for a bit. So it's nice to be able to start cooking again and get things done. I know a lot of you are probably like, why is he doing gloves? I'm doing gloves because I don't like my hands smelling like onion and garlic for days on end. And it's bad enough having to have the onions and stuff in your eyes, let alone all over your hands. So I like to get the pork tenderloins that are in the tube in the grocery section. So I'm doing a pork tenderloin. I'm doing 2 Vidalia onions, 2 whole things of garlic, not just cloves, because when you got Italian in your blood, you eat a lot of garlic. And carrots and potatoes. No greens this time, but we all know that this homesteader does eat greens. Just not this meal because I don't have any, and town's too far away to go grab celery or something else. But I wanted to talk about the reality of this lifestyle, the reality of what a lot of homesteaders, farmers, ranchers, gardeners, even just regular ordinary people, what they go through on a regular basis. And that's the simple fact that a lot of us are single unless you find somebody in that same mind frame. And when you're single, then you've got to deal with cooking for one person. If you don't like leftovers like me, then it's even harder because you don't want to eat leftovers. And just being able and having to be able to do everything on your own. So for those of you that watched my videos yesterday on the tree in the backyard that came down, almost took the building down, it was about 4 feet away. I've got to get out there today. I've got to get up in the tree, and I've got to take the tree down. Being alone and single, once again, has its negativities. When you're doing stuff on the farm, on the homestead, out in the gardens, if the smallest thing happens, nobody's there. Me, I'm lucky. I've got YouTube. I've got you guys out there that watch me, and if something happened, I have a handful of you that would know, something's wrong, I haven't responded, so on and so forth. Now, of course, it's probably way too late at that point, and now I'm getting onions in my eyes. But I've got somebody that would probably would call the local police department and get a check done on me. However, a lot of people that live way out in the middle of nowhere, that have ranches, have farms, and everything else, they don't have somebody to make that phone call. And they don't have immediate help. Like I said, if I get injured in this tree today, I don't have somebody right here helping me. If I needed somebody to pull on a rope, I don't have that. Another thing, it's not just farmers, ranchers, and everything else, but in today's society, like I've talked about many times, we're no longer a community anymore, we're a society. And with society, it's very, very hard and difficult to find people that even want to do what I'm doing, want to do ranching. A lot of people don't want to do the work. A lot of people don't want to live the struggle. But it's all about perspective. It's all about how you think, how you feel, the things you do. These onions are getting bad. I shouldn't be over this cutting board. But those people that go to a 9-to-5 job, they feel that's life. They feel like that's what they want to do, that's what they need to do, that's what was taught to them by their parents, their grandparents, so on and so forth. So for someone like me that wants to homestead, be able to go out, hike on my property, not have to go to an office, be able to do what I want to do, as I lost that piece of garlic because I'm trying to film and cook at the same time. But going to that office isn't something I want to do. Same thing with somebody that's in an air-conditioned office. They don't want to come out to middle of nowhere, or even if you live close to a town, in order to do anything, because they have those comforts. So that's the main conflicting points, is the perspective of the individual and the comforts and, how do I put it? The comforts that society has given us. I've talked about it before on that TV show, 1928 or 1929, whatever the Yellowstone side show was. When they went to town and the guy's trying to rent them a washing machine as the new thing. And the guy talks about how, well, if I don't have to do my laundry, what do I do? And he said, oh, you go out, you go on a picnic, you go fishing, so on and so forth. But you're paying rent on the washing machine, and then you gotta get electricity and pay another bill. And that's what we've got stuck in. We've got stuck in the phase that we don't want to do anything except spend, spend, spend. More and more luxuries. For those of you that have watched me over the years, know that I went from homelessness to living in a tarp tent to slowly building a house to slowly moving into a house. You didn't see that whole phase. I've talked about it. I didn't have my channel at the time because I didn't have internet. I didn't have the money. So a lot of things you don't see from a lot of people out there because they don't have the means to even be able to do it. But I slowly went through all different hard times and got up, and one of the videos that pops up on my Facebook memories is a video that still to this day gets me so super excited. And that's the video of when I was able to flush a toilet inside of the house that I built. Because a lot of people throughout life take living in the city, living in houses and everything else in society for granted. Nobody realizes how difficult it is not to have indoor plumbing. Nobody realizes, or a lot of people don't realize what it's like not to be able to turn on a faucet, to flush a toilet, to be able to wash your hands, to take a hot shower after being dirty working on a homestead. A lot of people don't know the difficulty of being able to flick a light switch, be able to sit down and relax for a moment and watch your favorite TV show, watch your favorite movie. Nobody knows what it's like not to be able to plug in your phone. So if something happens to you, you've got a way to call for help. These are different things that farmers, homesteaders, ranchers, preppers, we struggle with because we're not always in the circumstance of having the money to be able to do what we want. In exchange for those luxuries, in exchange for living the life we want immediately, we give a lot of our life to the struggle. We give a lot of our life to not having what we want. Working jobs, being able to get loans and all that, your 9 to 5, you're able to go ahead, mortgage a house, you're able to get a car loan, you're able to have a place to wash, a place to flick light switches, so on and so forth. We're a lot of homesteaders and stuff, we don't have that right away. because we're not working those 9 to 5 jobs. We're living our life now, not later. And in my opinion, the sacrifice and struggle that I've gone through my entire life, which we've seen, I've gone through a lot of it. And once again, for this past year and a half, I didn't have a kitchen. I didn't have a stove, a sink, any of that in here, because I hadn't put the money into doing it, because I knew this was a temporary situation. But in my opinion, staying here and sacrificing not having a fully built house ready to move in and everything else, I'm able to go see the animals each day. I'm able to make my own schedule, wake up when I want, go do everything else. Now you could be saying, okay, we all know that your pay comes from the VA. Not everybody can get paid from the VA or have money coming in from Colorado, like I have trying to sell my place in Colorado. A lot of people don't have these things, and that's true, 100% true. However, the one aspect you're not thinking is, I am living part as you guys are. And what I mean by that is the simple fact that I'm in this building. I have lights on, I have plumbing, I'm paying city bills. I'm spending money just like you guys are. I'm spending money to be able to live. Not survive, but to live. If you don't believe that being in a building with lights and water is living, try being homeless. Try turning your water off for 2 months. Try turning your water off for a month. You're going to learn really quick the difference between living and surviving. Surviving is being homeless and being able to come up with a way to clean, coming up with a way to bathe, coming up a way to be able to drink water. Let's go a step farther. Look at TV shows like Naked and Afraid. If you were in the middle of nowhere right now, could you come up with a way to have food? Could you come up with a way to sterilize water to make it potable? These are the different things that are surviving. A lot of people in the cities, and I see this and I hear this all the time on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, all the different things that everybody's using nowadays. And that is, I'm just barely surviving. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. No, you're just barely living because you don't need to be spending that money. And that's the big difference. Yes, I have income coming in from a couple different sources. However, I'm living. I'm not surviving. A lot of homesteaders, a lot of off-grid people, they're surviving. They're not living because they have to figure out a way to get electricity. They have to figure out a way to do rain catchment. How many of you in the cities do the rain catchment as your main source of water, your main source of being able to drink from, cook from, bathe in, so on and so forth? You don't. You're living. You have the modern conveniences like I have here. However, if we take this away and say I didn't have my VA coming in, I didn't have my payments from Colorado coming in, then I would be in a pretty bad situation because I couldn't afford my bills. I wouldn't be able to pay my electric bill here, my water bill here, my internet bill. So that would take me to a way to survive. And this is another way a lot of people don't see the difference between the two. And that's the simple fact of without money, you go off grid. Without money, you find another way to live. If I moved over onto the homestead right now, and didn't live, just survive. We all know I have the shed out there. I lived in the shed prior to meeting Carla, my last relationship. And it was a struggle. There was no running water, no electricity, just a total struggle. Now, can I do that? I can. Do I choose to do that? I don't. Why don't I choose to struggle? Because I've struggled 3 times in my life. The first time when I became homeless. The second time when I moved over into the ranch, into that camper trailer with no water, no electric until I was able to get the well and all that stuff done. And then 3, when I left Colorado for Arkansas in 2020 and bought that shed and lived in the shed with no electric, no running water. And I would have to go to a laundromat 30 miles away to take showers, to do my laundry. I had to buy bottles of water from Walmart and do all that type of stuff. But it's feasible. If you left your 9-to-5 job, it's possible and feasible to be able to survive without that income. The reason I say that is because a lot of you out there, you have money. You don't understand the money you have. And what I'm talking about is a lot of you have home equity. You got property that is outrageously expensive in the city that if you sell, a lot of you have equity. So that extra money is a little nest egg. A lot of you don't understand that you can pick up a 1 acre, 2 acre lot for less than $10,000. If you get up into more acreage, if you want a more survivable type thing, remember, my house that I built, that I became homeless on, I sold everything I had and bought 2.5 acres for $2,000. Yes, prices are higher now, but there's still people out there that they have to sell something right away, that they're willing to take less money. But even right now, you can find properties for $2,500 an acre, and if you make $30,000, $40,000 off your house in the city, you can pick up land, get a shed. It's going to be rough, but it's possible. Do you still need some money? Yes. So you're still going to have to do some side work for your neighbor or help another farmer or something like that, or do whatever. When I lost everything in 2011, the VA was giving me $123 a month. I survived on $123 a month. I'm still here after living on $123 a month with nothing. I sold everything. I lost everything. My house got foreclosed on, repossessed vehicles, so on and so forth. I survived $123 a month. How did I do that? Simple things like this that a lot of you can't live on. Ramen noodles. Then down here, down below, canned goods. You can still get canned goods even nowadays for less than $1 a can. So if you had to eat 1 can a day, 1 meal a day, a lot of you eat a lot of meals a day. A lot of you consume a lot of food. My buddy Steve, he eats like 12 meals to my 1 meal. He chooses to spend his money on food. I choose not to. Then again, us aliens, we don't need much food. But in that circumstance, now we're talking back 2011, I lost everything. So 2011 to now, prices are really increased. But back then, I could get ramen noodles for like, I think 9 cents a packet. So you take $123 a month, just say today, it's $1 a can. There's 30 days a month, that's $30 out of the 123. Boom. You've got one meal a day guaranteed for the whole month off that 123. Do you want to live that lifestyle? No, you probably don't. It's very rough, I can tell you. I've lived this lifestyle multiple times throughout my life so far. Yes, I'm only 36, but I've lived more lifetimes in my 36 years than most people live in 10 full lifetimes of 100-year lifespans. But this is the sacrifices you have to think about. These are the sacrifices you have to consider. Just like gambling. I'm a gambler. And this lifestyle is probably more of a gamble than anything else. Because like I said, now that I've cut up my meal, that's going to go in the crock pot and sit here in hopes that I return. I went and bought a little handheld chainsaw because I don't have my old saws anymore from when I used to do tree work. Because I've got a tree out back I've got to take care of. Do I have $5, $6, $7, $8, $9,000 to spend to have somebody to come do the work for me? No, I don't. So what do I have to revert to? My old gear, my old spikes, my safety rope, and my harness. I'm going to have to get up in the tree, and I'm going to have to gamble that me by myself, everything's going to be all right. Me by myself will make it back down to enjoy this dinner. It's a rough life. If you are considering homesteading, farming, ranching, going off grid, becoming a prepper, things like that, there's a lot of them that find that special partner. However, 90% of them don't find their partner right away. 90% of them struggle to do everything themselves. Building fences, raising animals, butchering animals, planting gardens, raising gardens, building a house, cutting down trees in the backyard, cooking alone, things like that. It can be a lonely life. It can be a hard life. You have to be happy with yourself. You have to be happy struggling and not completely living like somebody in the city. Go back and watch the original Matrix back in the early 90s and look at how the guy lived in the ship, and he finally said, nope, screw this, I'm going back to the Matrix so I can enjoy my lobster and feel happy and have music and all this type of stuff, because that struggle wasn't worth it. And that's what you have to find deep down inside of you is this struggle worth it? Is it worth 10, 20 years of your life alone until you find that right partner to make a homestead a completed home? To be able to have freedoms, to be able to do things. Because while a lot of you out there are probably at your office right now, or sitting in a fast food restaurant at the register having people scream and cuss and yell at you because their food came out wrong, or at Home Depot where you try to stop somebody running out the store from stealing things and they knock you over and you're 80 years old and that kills you. These are the things you got to consider. These are the things you got to think about. Do you want to live that lifestyle and not have the freedom to sit here and YouTube like me in the middle of the day, cook in the middle of the day, be able to go out here and work on my own land in the middle of the day? I may not have all the luxuries you have. My walls, my house may not be the prettiest around. But that's one thing I think we need a change in the system. We need to go back to the old ways where, with me, I still struggle with that. I like everything nice. I like everything new. And that's that mindset. I've been raised around it. My family was that way. But then you go to like my great-grandparents and stuff like that, they didn't have the nicest things. And we're taught over the generations to just get rid of the old and buy this new so-called improved stuff that doesn't last as long. The refrigerators and washing machines and dryers that only work for 2 to 3 years now versus our great-grandparents' dryers and stuff that ran for 30 years. Some of them are still running. Some of the old refrigerators, 80 years old, still going. It's the mindset of society. It's what we're taught. But I just wanted to make a video today for those of you considering it, or those of you that are in this situation, to know you're not alone in the struggle. We all struggle. Like I said, I just started dating apps like 3 weeks ago. I'm trying to find my partner in crime to do things together, not be alone. But at the same time, how many years have I been on here without relationships? You know, I homestead all the time. That's another reason why I got all these mouses over here, because they make the days good. I get to wake up in the morning, get to give them each a snuggle hug, give them a kiss, say good morning to each of them, and start my day. So I hope everybody's having a great day. If you're thinking about this lifestyle, there's a lot to consider. It's not as easy as you think about it. The hardest part is trying to find somebody that's willing to live this lifestyle and live the way you want to live, do what you want to do, and have the ideas that you have. It's hard just to move from the luxuries, let alone compile work on top of it, financial burdens on top of it, and stress, strain, and mental fatigue on top. So with that, remember, like always, live happy, live free. That's the only way to be. I'm going to finish this up. I got to get out there. If you guys don't see a video and by the Sunday Monday vlog, call the local sheriffs. I'll be out there laying on the ground, impaled on a fence or something like that. I have no idea. We don't know what's going to happen. But hopefully I'll make a video later this evening and say, hey, look, the tree's down. I didn't take the building out. I didn't take the fence out. I climbed the tree successfully. I got out of the tree successfully. And then I can talk about how winter is coming. And do you have firewood? Are you getting things prepared? So hopefully see you guys this evening. With that, have a great day. Enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you guys later.